Wanderer, The Ultimate Hippie Trail Journey is a great read and a hell of a lot of fun. Check it out. Follow the journey and our route on our website at wandererbook.com. Welcome to week 30. Let's get the big picture of the Wanderer 50 years ago. Coming from Detroit, crossing the ocean, going around Europe, going down to Spain, to Morocco, across North Africa, Italy, up to Rome, across to Israel, wander around there, heading out to Cyprus, then over to Lebanon, Syria, across Turkey, and deciding, I'm going to do the big kahuna even more. Heading out across Turkey, Iran, and here we are this week, going from Mashhad in far eastern Turkey to Herat in western Afghanistan. And it's a big adventure because, first of all, you got to get the hell out of Mashhad. And it's been a holy day. Then we finally get on some crazy bus, take it to the border, don't get through, have a war with the conductor. And then the next day, getting into Herat and having a whole world unfold to you. Let's get on to the particulars. I meet a lot of very interesting travelers at the train station here in Mashhad, Iran. And we're looking for a way to get out of Mashhad and get to Afghanistan, which was the intention of everybody who was hanging out at that train station. So we finally make a deal with this crazy guy and get on a bus just like the one you see behind me, but it was black, a short, stubby bus. And now we're trying to make a deal with this character. Well, we get on the bus and we head to a small town near the border with Afghanistan called Taybat. In these parts of the world is a way that borders are just miles apart. It's kind of a no man's land between them. And it's kind of just a desert crazy place. There's a bunch of English people on the bus. The Pakistani brothers I met going across Iran told me they had a car at customs and offered me a ride, but I want to get to Afghanistan after waiting for 4 hours for a bus. Also, I don't mind getting away from those Pakistanis who are from Peshawar. And the older one keeps saying he wants to have sex with me. So I had enough of these guys. So I get on the magic bus where the conductor, the ticket taker, promises to get a group of us waiting at the train station to Herat that very evening, saying, Herat tonight, Herat tonight. Herat is the first major city, so we're lured onto it. Why not? So me and these two English blokes I had been talking with get on the silly-looking, upright, short, black stub of a bus, together with a group of other travelers. After a couple of hours on the road, we find out it's not to be Herat tonight. We're going to be stuck at the border. I had formed a bond with these guys, and we said, we're not going to put up with this. This is not what we bargained for. Here we are at the Afghani border, and we got no place to go, no place to sleep. So a group of us travelers walk away from the bus to find a little hotel in the countryside, as there are some other buildings around the border, like a very small village. We go off to buy some food, but we can't hardly see as there's a bit of a sandstorm brewing out here on the desert. Me and my new English buddies, we make it to this very small hotel. Everyone else goes back to the bus, but we stay and eat. The local guy who runs the hotel takes us out to an outbuilding away from the main little hotel. The proprietor sells us a very small piece of Afghani hashish in this small white building, carpeted with literally no furniture. It's like a red carpeted mausoleum with bright white walls. I start to roll a joint with some tobacco and papers, taking a couple of tokes, and it's really great stuff. I'm getting the big buzz on. Wow. These English guys start getting paranoid in this little white house, generally as we're really in the middle of nowhere. And while inspecting the premises, one of them finds what appears to be blood spattered on the wall in the next room. These guys start getting into how eerie the scene is. The wind starts whooping it up, and it's literally howling out there. Ooh. We actually had to leave the hotel in fear to try to find our way back to the bus in the dark and the sandstorm. And there we are at the immigration's office. After making such a scene on the bus, we were a bit embarrassed and had paid for the hotel for nothing. My English companions just got me going. We kind of crawled back to the bus at the border with our tails between our legs. The silly little upright black bus is there. Many of the travelers remaining on it, some laying near the bus or on the porch of the building. We lay down on the porch. I can't sleep, looking up at the stars after the sandstorm cleared and the portico over my head. It appeared to be a grand building. Morning comes, and the light of day belies that the grand building is actually a shack, typical of Afghanistan. I will find out. These are truly simple people with little or no capacity for building or architecture. The English fellows and I look for my Pakistani buddies. Maybe they'll give us a ride, but they don't appear. Before leaving the customs office, we buy a disc of black Afghani hashish like a small hamburger patty. Wow, right there at the border. The weaselish conductor, wearing baggy pants and a turban, comes and tells us the ride to Herat will cost us just 50 Afghanis, about 60 cents. We refuse to pay, but we get on the bus anyway. The whole situation becomes quite a game. More hassles come on the price and the payment for the bus ride as the little bus full of travelers rumbles down the road. Others simply pay for what me and my two English buddies think is a rip-off price. We resist together. Then the conductor swipes my glasses off my face, taking advantage of my stone condition since we are smoking hashish as we roll along. Finally, I give up and give him his 50 Afghanis to get my glasses back. He was blackmailing me. April 1971, Wednesday, Herat, Afghanistan. I got off that bus and I crawled into a beautiful little tea house. Then somehow we make it to a hotel and walk around this fantastic desert town. It's absolutely a bizarre place, which makes Morocco look civilized. Hashish is simply everywhere. While in a tea house made of mud, making music with a German kid, me and the English blokes, Roger and Dick, are offered a large patty of hashish like a full-size hamburger. The city is so fantastic, with desert ruins all around, but it's the life and the people that are different. These people are great, quite lively as they interact vitally with us. I finally crashed in this cheap hotel after not hardly sleeping for about 5 days, except in the basement of the hotel in Mashhad, Iran. Well, I wasn't Muslim and I got thrown out of there at 7:30 a.m., so that was a short respite. The only reason we slept in that basement was because it was raining outside on the roof. Anyway, well, crashing in Herat is a great thing. And I wind up buying a knife. Oh my God, my fourth knife of the trip. And it's an Afghani knife, a very interesting knife. The Afghani tea house you see behind me is typical. Much of it, though, is inside because the weather can be inclement. In the winter, it's not exactly a warm, balmy place all year round. I was there in April, and it was actually still quite cold. It gets quite hot in the summer. But these tea houses are where the action is. Each one of them in the back has a hashish room with giant hookahs. And these would be huge pots, kind of a base, if you will, and having two sticks stick out, one with the hashish and one to suck on with a lot of water. Oftentimes, you have to actually stand on a wooden platform because they're so big, and the Afghanis are relatively short compared to me, except for, of course, some of them are quite tall. It's a varied people. But what isn't varied is these tea houses. This is the way it was in Afghanistan in those days, and it was a big part of my life while there. You must look at this country to understand its power. The middle of the country is filled with the Hindu Kush mountains. So to get through it, You basically got to go north or south. North from Herat, 3 days to a town you never heard of, and then another day to Mazar-e Sharif, and then on to Kabul on a highway that was known to be reliable. The other way, Herat down to Kandahar and then up to Kabul. All the way avoiding the Hindu Kush Mountains. Hindu killers, they're called, because every time the people from the subcontinent, conquerors, emperors, would try to come to Afghanistan, they didn't get very far. They got to Peshawar, they got across, and then they hit into those mountains and they were foiled. And that was the end of them. Likewise, our wanderer is in Herat. He's trying to get further east and ultimately decides the only way to go is south to Kandahar. 30 April 1971, Friday, Herat, Afghanistan. Once again, I float with the stream and move off towards Kandahar tomorrow morning. So I sit easy and wait for my body to settle its bout of nausea from last night. It's all right. So in the morning, I will go off with the 2 English cats further east and a bit more towards the fulfillment of a dream. I would be quite the fool not to make the next leg of this excursion into India and maybe, just maybe, Kathmandu, Nepal as the ultimate. The Wander is a great read. It uses something we call the active voice. It's a hell of a lot of fun. You feel like you're right there experiencing it with our wanderer. And follow our route of the journey on our website at wandererbook.com. Next week is week 31. Get ready. We've made it to Kandahar, Afghanistan, spending 3 or 4 days there in this wonderful, exotic place, and then moving on to Kabul on Thursday, spending a couple days, Friday, Saturday in Kabul, and that will be the end of week 31 until we start thinking about moving on again. See you then. Soon we are ushered into the back room of the tea house where a tall water pipe is the main attraction, and we partake in the local custom. What a gas. After leaving the tea house, the 4 of us meander to a rather primitive and very cheap hotel. Fritz and I get a room together. Richard and Roger are in the next room. A shower and sleep is what I need. I've hardly slept in 5 straight days of travel. I'm really beat and very mellow, lethargic, ready for some good, uninterrupted rest. 2 days later, and I finally wake up. I was dead to the world. I must have slept 30 hours straight. I'm looking forward to wandering around Herat now that I'm refreshed. Fritz, Richard, Roger, and I journey to a local market bazaar. Fritz and I somehow get separated from the other 2. So what do? We locate a scruffy-looking tea house. We take a seat and order tea. A guy invites us into a small inner room in the back. We soon learn this is to be the custom in these parts. A large water pipe made up of a huge vase with a pipe and bowl sticking straight up, packed with hashish, is offered. We partake once again. I sustain and maintain a calm, mellow inner peace with each new drag on the hookah. This is a come-true dream. All the great hashish we want at a price so cheap it might as well be free, and seemingly without any fear of arrest or reprisal. I am free as a bird, free as the wind blows, free as the sun shines, free as the stars glow, free as the wine-dark sea. I am a child of the universe, a free-born world wanderer.